Well, for more on the markets, I'm joined now by Ross Gerber, President and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki. Ross, hi. Let's start by talking about the banks now that we've heard from them all this quarter. What do you make of those numbers, and what's your forecast for financials as yields start to rise?
Well, we've seen kind of a mixed bag, I think, with the financials from, obviously the advantage they have from a strong economy and the strong refinancing that they had in the last couple quarters. But as we move forward, their businesses are going to change. So they get the advantage of higher interest rates, but the disadvantage of less mortgage activity. Many of the banks, because the economy is so strong, are still going to continue to benefit in this environment. And we've been starting to move some more assets into the financial sector because in a rising interest rate environment, it's generally beneficial for banks.
What about big tech, which is, of course, perhaps the sector that stands to be hurt the most by higher yields? And we do see the Nasdaq's having its worst month since March 2020. Can big tech recover from this in the short term?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think valuations had gotten stretched, and now we're seeing stocks come down, and many of the big tech stocks are still, I think, very nicely valued, but we're also going to see a corresponding jump in earnings and strength. And companies like Microsoft making moves, buying Activision with all that cash that they have sitting on the books is just a great move. And we're seeing the rally in Microsoft. It's a top holding in my fund, GK. And so we're super bullish on big cap tech, actually. And I think that earnings will make up for a little bit higher valuations. But we're happy with the correction because it allows us to buy stocks at a more reasonable price.
And America's deadlocked politics is making headlines again. If spending bills remain stuck in the Senate along with everything else, what does that mean for equities?
Well, there's a good and a bad. The bad being, many of the things that are in these bills are very beneficial for the country, including dealing with climate and EV incentives and such. So for our solar positions, it's been sort of bad news that Biden can't get anything done to protect the environment. It's good in that they want to raise taxes, and there's a lot of spending in this bill and more, government handouts, and this has really stoked inflation in this country, especially labor costs rising dramatically because the government has really been supporting labor so much. And so some of it is good and some of it's bad, but I would prefer to see these bills pass, and I would prefer to see progressive legislation being passed by the Democrats because this is their only year to get anything done. And if they don't get anything done, I think they're going to be swept out in November, and the Republicans will be back in charge.
Thanks so much for that, Ross Gerber, President and CEO of Gerber Kawasaki.